Okay, excellent. Next is Councilmember Spease.
This might be the day I get off a couple of Christmas card lists, but I need folks to understand that I'm looking through this through my window and my window only. I absolutely hate this item. I don't like it because I think it's a self-serving conversation. And to sit up here and to decide what we should get is difficult for me, and I'm not comfortable with it. But nonetheless, here we are. Now, I did prepare this before because I have a few numbers in here, and so I apologize to you that if I appear to be reading, because I am. I prepared this to make sure that I got everything said that I need to say. So let me start with how I view my work on the city council. I see this as community service. It's not volunteering, it's community service. Typically in community service, you are giving something and you get something in return. If someone is doing community service because they went to jail, they're doing community service to, repay the community, right? I don't see this obviously as jail. I see this as I had a great life here in Elk Grove growing up, and this is my opportunity to give back. When I do this, I get back, right? Because I'm helping those who brought me forward in those earlier years. So it's not volunteering, it's community service. But as such, some level of stipend isn't unreasonable, right? So we have a stipend. What I'm going to tell you, though, is that I find the current level of stipend reasonable and, in fact, very generous. And I have some explanation, of course, for you on this. We have two types of expectations for this job. We have stuff that we're required to do, and then there's stuff that we have to do to stay elected. Two different jobs, right? The stuff we have to do is attend city council meetings, right? We have to spend time preparing for meetings. We gotta do a couple hours before that, right? We have to attend city ad hoc meetings, like the homeless ad hoc meetings. We have to respond to emails, and we have to attend boards and committees. I'll get back to you on attending boards and committees here in a little bit. But the stuff that we have to do to stay elected is going to the fundraisers, the rubber chicken dinners, of all sorts, right? Festivals, parades, parties, fundraisers, all of that stuff. That's in the what we have to do to stay elected bucket. So I don't think it's fair for taxpayers to pay for stuff we need to do to stay elected, when in fact, the city already does in part. Right? We aren't compensated directly for our time when we go to the Chamber of Commerce, dinner, or whatever. But like the Elk Grove Chamber Gala, the Greater Sacramento Economic Council, Raise the Barn, Elk Grove Scholarship Dinners, these seats are paid for by the city. And typically, but not always, I pay for my own admission to these events because I'm also representing my own company, okay, which pays for my attendance at these events. So how much time do I spend on the things that I have to do? So let's do an inventory on what, again, I'm looking through my window. I'm not putting anything on anybody else. I'm talking about what do I do? How much time do I spend on things that I have to do? I attend city council meetings, 2 meetings a month at about 5 hours per meeting average, and that's a little high. We don't normally do 6, but every once in a while we did. So I'm being a little generous, right? 5 hours per meeting average, 10 hours a month. All right. I spend time preparing for the city council meetings, staff packages, agendas, reading all that. 2 meetings a month at about 2 hours per meeting. So 4 hours prepping per month. Okay. I'm on the homelessness ad hoc committee. That's about 2 hours per month. We don't meet every month, but 2 hours per month is about the right number. Emails. Okay. Some folks get a lot of emails. I feel pretty efficient about my emails, and I spend about 15 minutes a day replying to emails. Why? Because I forward them off to staff for resolution. I let the experts do it, right? I, of course, follow up on it and stay in the process, but that's what staff is for, is to manage those questions about, trash or homelessness or whatever. That's for them to deal with, right? So that's about 7.5 hours a month. If you consider 15 minutes a day, 30 days in the month, that's about 7.5 hours. So altogether, I'd say I spend about 23.5 hours a month doing the things that I have to do. So over the course of a year, that's 282 hours. Okay? Other things, parking, free. If I go downtown for a commission meeting or whatever, the parking's free, they give me the validation, it's not a big deal. As for gas, right? I live 3 miles from City Hall. Actually, I just work around the corner, so I'm already here. So 3 miles one way, 6 miles round trip, 5 meetings a month, that's 30 miles per month. That's 360 a year. So 360 miles per year at the GSA reimbursement of 67 cents is about $247 a year. So let's do some more mathing. $6,232 per year for the hourly stipend and $247 per year in gas. That's $6,479, right? Okay, so we're getting $9,600 gross. That's just that, for lack of a better term, as an employee compensation, right? Okay, which is the stipend that we're talking about. So, when I show, what I see my costs are of $6,479, but I'm getting paid $9,600 gross, that means I have $3,121 left over, right? I understand taxes come out of it and all of that stuff, but basically what I'm left with is enough to buy a new suit, a couple of shirts, and a new pair of shoes a year, right? I got to pay for my cleaning anyway because I work. I wear these exact same clothes. Okay, but I have employees, and in my everyday, I have to explain to them that it isn't just the hourly wage they get or the salary they get, but it's also the cost of the benefits. So let me explain some of my benefits. I get cash in lieu of medical insurance. If you choose not to take medical insurance, you get cash in lieu, which I believe, please correct me, goes into a deferred comp account, right? Which I don't get the cash in my hand, but it goes into deferred comp, right? So that's $650 a month, about $7,800 annually. And of course, Ms. Rojas, if I get any of this wrong, correct me, right? Cellular phone allowance, $100 a month. That's $1,200 a year. Executive supplemental insurance, $238 a month. That's $2,760. Employer retirement contribution to CalPERS, that's $727. And of course, this $76, I don't really understand why that's getting paid to me, but the CalPERS unfunded liability, right? We can go into why I get that later, but so that's $12,563 above my stipend. That's $22,000 total for 282 hours of work. That's $78 an hour, okay? So for me, I consider that $78 an hour is extremely generous. And honestly, I don't support more. I'm certainly open to other people's opinions. Again, this is the window that I look through. If this item were in front of me tonight to vote, I would certainly say no. But all that said, that's where I am with it. Thank you.